Hey guys, it's Stevie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video. I want to talk about my LGBT plus faves. Any that I recommend, any that I want you to read. Like there's some here where I want to shove it at you and be like, read this now. because they're so good. I especially want to talk about this because I am part of the LGBT and I want people out there to know that they are here, like they can be here and supported, whether or not they're bi, trans, gay, lesbian, non-binary, whatever the case may be. I want you to know that you are accepted here. You can thrive, you can, whatever the case may be, you are welcome here. So I hope this helps you feel more welcome. So yeah, let's get right into it. One of the first books I read last year that was really LGBT themed, if you will, like one of those really popular books that everyone was talking about that you need to read. One of them was definitely Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This book was phenomenal. The next book I'll talk about, which is her second release, I like more than this, but this book was really good. It's about the Prince of Wales and the son of the United States president. They were enemies, and then they eventually start to have to get used to each other and like each other to make it look better for everybody in the world. So it didn't look like the two countries were fighting. And as they started to do that, they start to fall in love. And it starts to cause a lot of issues. But oh my god, it's so cute. I will say, for anybody who doesn't really like smutty things, don't read this book. It's kind of smutty. It's not the smuttiest book out there, but it's kind of smutty. Now I will say, some of the scenes in here are fade to black, but there are some scenes in here that aren't. So just be warned if you don't like something like that, because this book has quite a bit of it. And like I said, the next book I'm going to talk about is the second book by Casey McQuiston, One Last Stop. This, other than Serpent and Dove, were my absolute favorite of last year. This book, I can't put into words how much I adore this book. This is everything that I want in a lesbian story, if you will. Oh my god, I read this right before and during my trip down to Florida over the summer last year, and let me just say, I needed to start this when I actually went, because I finished this so quickly. I don't even think it lasted me a couple hours. Like, this book, I think I had read it for 2 days before I went, and then I finished it on the trip down there. Oh my god, it was so good. Oh my god, this was a 5 out of 5 stars for sure. I would say Red, White, and Royal Blue is a 4, 4.5. But this for sure. Like I said, it was one of my favorites of last year. It's number 2, I think. Because Serpent and Dove just holds such a high bar for me, because I absolutely adore that book to my core. I will never stop recommending people to read it. I will never stop talking about it. You can't get me to shut up about that book. But anyway, back to One Last Stop. It is about a girl named Autumn who moves to New York hoping for this picture-perfect life, but unfortunately that doesn't exactly happen for her. She ends up meeting Jane on the subway and realizes she's not exactly a typical I think they're teenagers. Or early 20s. But she's not exactly the typical girl you meet. She is displaced through time. She is stuck from the 1970s, and her and Autumn have to figure out how to get her back to her normal time. And let me just say, phenomenal. Such an amazing book. One of my biggest recommends out there. Another book I read pretty early on last year was They Both Die at the End by Silvera. This book is another one of those books that is highly recommended on TikTok that I saw that I had to try. Oh my god. And let me say, heart-wrenching. Even my coworker last year was like, why would you read a book with that title. I'm like, you know what? I signed up for this. And also, the covers on all these books, that is one of my favorite things. Is they say don't judge a book by its cover, but like, how can you not? It's freaking stunning. I can't get over it. But anywho, I have not read any of Adam Silvera's other works. I want to read What If It's Us. I haven't yet, but I need to. But basically, it's about two guys, Mateo and Rufus. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I read this book. They get a call basically saying, I think it's your time. Yeah, they're going to die in less than 24 hours. So they had a time, but never mind. And basically, you can go on an app that you can spend your last day with a buddy, whoever has that same day, whatever the case may be. You can share that day together and just live out your last day. And Mateo and Rufus are two of those people who end up connecting and really get close during their last day, and it is just so adorable. This book hurt me. This is one where I was almost in tears, if not in tears, and I don't really cry at books. I'm more a crier of like TV shows and movies and like clips you see on Facebook and like that kind of stuff. Books don't really make me cry, but this book made me cry. I could not believe, and Alan Silvera's writing with this was so good. You can see them throughout that day and night up until their death. And it's not a spoiler, obviously, that they both die, because it's literally the title. But it hurt so much at the very end. It felt too soon, even though we read this entire book. I think it's like 500 pages, 400 pages, something like that. Yeah, like almost 400 pages. And it just felt like it wasn't enough time. It really makes you think about your life. It really makes you think, like, what if I only had 24 hours to live? What would I do in that time? What do I need to do? You know, that kind of thing. It really makes you think in perspective about your life. Next up is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This book is written in a way that I don't really read. It's written through verse, which is, if anybody doesn't know, it's poetry. I would say like 98% of it is through poetry. Some of it isn't. Some of it is through actual like storytelling. But yeah, most of the story is told through verse, and it is absolutely amazing. It's so good. And let me just say, Under the Dust Jacket, like, can we talk about how absolutely stunning that is? I appreciate, like, Under the Dust Jacket, like the hardbacks. That's why most of the time I get hardbacks over paperbacks. Because even though they might not be easier to read, and even though you have to take off the dust cover to read it, it's worth it, because books like these, it's absolutely stunning. But Black Flamingo is about a boy who is a black gay man and is trying to live his life. Now, it sounds very subtle, but he ends up discovering drag. And which, first of all, I didn't know that drag was an acronym. I had no idea. I think it's dressed resembling a girl, which makes sense. But I had no idea. I thought it was just a plain old simple word. But I didn't realize that till I read this book. But it's absolutely amazing. Once he finds drag, it completely changes his life. And basically, you start when he was a child, and you basically go up to like current time when he discovers drag and is going through it and figuring out himself. It's just a fantastic book. I mean, you can tell because they got the Stonewall Book Award, or Dean Atta got the Stonewall Book Award, which is a big deal when it comes to LGBT novels like this. If you get that award, you're like top tier literature. At least from what I know. I could be wrong, but I recommend this book. Obviously, because this whole book is this whole video is a recommendations. Wow, words are hard. Words are very hard. I'm having a hard time. So ignore that. Don't pay attention to that. Next, we have The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schreifer? Schreifer? I think that's how you say it. I apologize. Like I've said in the past, I'm not good at pronouncing names. So please bear with me. I'm not trying to make fun of the author or anything. I'm just not good at pronouncing names. But this book was one that I had found and loved this idea of the story. It takes place in space. Like, not many romances take place in space, at least from what I know of. But this is about Ambrose and Kodiak, and basically they're stuck up in space in their own spaceship, but have no memory of how they got there. And one of them, I think it's Kodiak, who locks himself away, who will not talk to Ambrose, and basically Ambrose has to figure out how to get hold of Kodiak to get him out of that room so they can talk and figure out what the hell is going on, because he doesn't know and he doesn't think Kodiak does either. So basically they go through all their tasks to try. It's kind of like Among Us, where they have to go through all their tasks and try to figure out what's going on. I mean, even when it's in the book, everything is divided into like how many tasks are remaining. This book is so good. Oh my gosh. The only thing I don't like about it, it's not divided into chapters. It's just straight up, like, it just goes. Like, there's no chapters, there's no way, other than the divisions of how many tasks are remaining, that's it. You don't have chapters, you don't have any chapters? Wow. Like I said, talking is hard. Chapters, you don't have anything like that. It's literally just straight through. So that would be my only complaint, because I'm one who, when she reads, she likes to have a chapter that she stops on, because I know where I was. I didn't have to go through the whole page to figure out where I stopped. So that was a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, but it wasn't enough that it made me stop this book. Oh my god, this book was so good. Like, this cover, like I said, all these covers are freaking stunning. So yes, this is one that I would definitely recommend. Like, please read this book. Another one I extremely highly recommend is The Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This book, oh my god, I got this when I was down in Florida, and I read it on the way home, and once I got home from Florida, oh my god. First of all, like I said with the Black Flamingo, can we talk about the hardcover? How freaking stunning that is. I don't think I have ever seen a more stunning cover art. Like that, oh my god. At some point I want to just talk about, like, because I have my TikTok, I just want to make a whole TikTok about all, like, the hardcovers and their designs and how gorgeous they are, because I have so many that are freaking stunning. I mean, heck, I have two right here that are absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, back to the book. This book was so amazing. I absorbed this so quickly. I just devoured this book. I'm not sure if it was just because of Aiden Thomas's writing, but it was especially because of the storyline. This, like, can we, like, oh my god. I can't stop talking about the gorgeous designs of these books. They're so beautiful, it hurts. But basically, in Cemetery Boys, what is our main... Wow, why can't I remember? Yadriel. Wow, I could not remember the main character's name for a second. But Yadriel is a boy who is trans, and he is trying to be accepted as a man in his family, but none of his family really wants to accept him. They don't define him as a man. They don't see him as a man. And all he wants is to be recognized for who he truly is. So, when he's trying to find his cousin's murderer, he accidentally raises the body of the high school bad boy from the dead. And basically he has to figure out what happened to his cousin, who truly murdered him, and how to figure out what to do with the high school bad boy. Oh my god, this book. I know I keep being like, oh my god. But this book is probably, other than One Last Stop, this is probably one of the most recommended books on my stack that I have. This book is just, it's so amazing, it hurts. Like, I need to reread this again, because this and One Last Stop, I want to reread again. And I think they both die at the end. Honestly, any of these books I would reread, but I'm not really a person who rereads books. I have only reread one of my reads from last year. And the reason I say only from last year, because you're probably like, she hasn't been reading long then, has she? Not really, because when I was a kid, I hated reading. So once I got older, from last year, it was like about January, like end of December, of 2020, I almost said 2019. I absolutely fell in love with reading again, and I shouldn't say again, but I fell in love in general. And just, I don't really reread. Serpent and Dove has been the only one I've reread, because again, it's one of my absolute favorite books, and I always love to reread. Like, I would reread that book thousands of times if I could. But I highly recommend Cemetery Boys. Please read this book. Next, we have These Feathered Flames by Alexandra Overy. I cannot wait for the second book to come out. I think it's this August. I have to check. I want an arc of this book so bad. If there are any books on my most anticipated reads of 2022, the second book to the series, oh my god, This Cursed Crown would be my most asked. But I cannot find a way to contact the publisher to be able to get an arc. And even then, it's not guaranteed. Especially because I just started my YouTube channel. And I don't have a lot of followers on my TikTok. I probably won't end up getting it, which is whatever. But anyway, about These Feathered Flames. Basically, it's about two sisters who were raised. One of them gets to stay in the palace. One of them gets sent off to learn her powers that she has because they're dangerous. She has the power of the Phoenix, and she has to figure out how to control it. And when she gets older, she knows it's time for her to go back to the castle because her mother has passed, and she can feel it, and she has to go back. But the thing is, she has a very hard time reuniting with the sister that she has that stayed in the castle, who knows all this etiquette, who has run the country. She has a hard time because, again, it's been like 18 years, 19 years since she's seen her sister, and even then she doesn't know her at all because she was an infant. But oh my god, this book, it's so good. The main character ends up starting to have a little bit of a fling with one of the, I think she's one of the, not knights, she's one of like the palace guards and stuff like that. I think that's what she was. Like I said, it's been a long time since I read this book. And this book is absolutely gorgeous because underneath, this is one of the Bookish box or Bookish shop exclusive editions. This was the first ever Bookish box that I got in the mail. And like, I love that they have the exclusive covers and underpage, the end pages and stuff like that. It's absolutely stunning. But yes, I cannot wait till This Cursed Crown comes out. I want it so bad. I need it. It's so hard to wait for this book to come out. And I'm definitely going to have to reread this before it comes out because this, oh my god. And I cannot wait till Alexandra Overy comes out with more novels because I need it. And last but not least, I know no one is going to be shocked about this, but of course I'm going to talk about City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Because of course we have Magnus Bane and Alec Latewood being the adorable gay couple that they are. I mean, this is one of the biggest, I don't know, to me, it's very shocking because someone who has such a big series like Cassandra Clare bringing in, and I know in later books they have a lot of LGBT people as well. I don't remember exactly what all they are. I think there's a lesbian woman. I think there's a trans person at one point. I cannot remember. But if anybody doesn't know about City of Bones, I will leave the links to, I think it's my 2021 favorites. I think I talk about City of Bones in there. I'm like 99% sure. But I will link that video down below so you guys can get the synopsis on this book, because I don't really want to delve too deep into it because I have already talked about it. But yes, this is one of the books that I definitely recommend. This, as long as you are committed to reading, like, however many freaking books are in these series. Now, you could just choose to read just the Mortal Instruments if you would like, because there is plenty of Alec and Magnus cute relationship in there. But I don't think you have to read like the Dark Eye Devices, the Infernal Devices, that kind of thing. If you really don't want to, this one would suffice. And that is it for all of my LGBT book recommendations. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any other recommendations for any more LGBT books or any books in general, please leave them down below. I would love to hear them. I would love to get some books and tries, even though you can see I have this book stack behind me, and even because I don't have a tripod yet, I even have my phone stacked on some books. So if you do, please let me know down below. I would love to hear you guys' recommendations, and I'm dropping my books as I'm speaking. So I'm going to end this so I don't drop them everywhere and make a mess. But thank you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think, and if you have any more recommendations for videos, I would love to hear them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.